Welcome, Nerdy Sports audience, to another Nerdy Sports production. I'm your host, Tim, and joining me today is a man who may be less interested in the NBA draft than me, because for me, the NBA draft is one of my favorite days of the entire year. And today, in 5 minutes, we will know who will get Victor Wembanyama.
Woo!
What's up, Scotty? How are you?
I'm pretty good. Got excited for the lottery and then tonight's game. Got the Lakers
Of
Nuggets.
course.
Should be really good.
20 minutes away from game one of the Western Conference Finals. We are up to the Final Four. We got the Denver Nuggets facing the Los Angeles Lakers, a team not many people thought had a chance of even making the playoffs 5 months ago. And then in the Eastern Conference, we got my Miami Heat facing off and hopefully beating the Boston Celtics. But the first thing I want to do with you to kind of preamble the Final Four is run through a little draft so that, if the Nerdy Sports audience doesn't have a full understanding of who is in this Final Four, our draft will hopefully provide them with some additional information on players to watch, specific players to potentially produce very well. And I think it's just fun to draft. We had a draft of our own in the beginning of the playoffs. We had a team draft to figure out who was going to win the most rounds. And after round one, it was pretty close. It was 5-3, Tim. And then after the second round, I got 3 more points, and you only got the Lakers. So it's 8-4. I have an automatic 9, and your max is 6.
Yeah.
So it's perfect timing. NBA draft night, team draft is pretty much over. Now let's get the player draft, where it's just a little bit more subjective, because at the end of the day, we're both probably going to think we won. So as the host, once again, I'm going to give you the first pick, and we're going to put together a legitimate team. We have 10 guys each. There's only 4 teams to choose from. Who's your number one pick?
For my number one pick, I feel like it's honestly a little obvious. Maybe it's not, but I feel like you got to go with Jokic. I feel like the way he's played.
I think so.
That's got to be.
I mean, Sorry, go ahead.
That's got to be a pick. I mean, the way he's played against Phoenix, particularly, that was. I feel like some people don't even realize how good his stats were being put up because he was playing against Booker, who was putting up the best stats in NBA history up through the first 4 games. And then you had so much attention being shown to like LeBron and Steph. You had Steph put up a 50.7 point game 7. So like a lot of things were happening, and because Denver did crush Phoenix in the last 2 games, ended up being that series died. It kind of went down. It was like, oh, okay, we got 2-2. Maybe this could be fun, and then it kind of ended very ugly. That I don't think people actually realized how insane his points were. He was averaging like 35, 12, and 9. Something insane. I think he actually averaged triple-double. And he was even able to rest some of the fourth quarters because there was a lot of blowouts in there. His stats probably could have been better if he had to play more. So I think that's the choice. You should have had a good second choice at center. No losers here completely. I think that's got to be number one.
He's the best player in the league, and his stats have only improved in the playoffs. I'm so excited to watch the Anthony Davis-Jokic match, and I'm curious if Jared Vanderbilt's going to get a little bit more action tonight because that's the type of defender they're going to need. But, I mean, he's the best player in the league. You got to pick him with the Final Four. And for me, my first pick, I could go so many ways. I really can. But I got to go with my boy Jimmy Butler. I think he's better than Jason Tatum, especially right now. And I think head-to-head, ankle injury or not, Jimmy Butler's going to get you points. He's going to also make everybody else around him better. I think Jason Tatum is a little worse because his abilities are a little silo into his own scoring. I mean, he scored 51 in Game 7. They didn't really need it, but they needed a decent performance. I mean, the fact that the Philadelphia 76ers went 6.5 minutes in the third quarter without scoring. The James Harden is back in the playoffs type of atmosphere. But that only diminished, and Doc Rivers firing, that only diminished away from Jason Tatum. Don't want to hate him, but when you pick people, there's always a little hate. I got to go homer pick. I got to go with a leader, a guy that I know is going to give his maximum effort, and he may curse somebody out, but hopefully I could have some mentally strong men around him. I'm picking Jimmy Butler with my first pick.
All right. I feel like there's a lot of good players as we're down to the final four teams, so there's no very bad choices here. But I don't know if this is slightly, if you will, cheating, so to say. I want to take AD at power forward.
I knew it.
I
You're
think,
gonna do it again. The
yeah.
last time we did this draft, it was because of the All Star game. You took Jokic and Embiid, and you're like, Tim, what are you gonna do? You and Rohan. Hopefully, Rohan's listening. We're like, all right, now.
Now,
So that's why
in
I'm like,
fairness to
do I
me,
pick AD just
Anthony
to save
Davis,
myself?
just a couple
So
years
who?
ago, played power forward against Jokic. When they played in the bubble, he played power forward. It's a position he likes to play better. He doesn't love to be in center, so it's not a complete position he's never played before. I think if I take him off the board, I feel like there's lots of guards still available.
You know what? I gotta. So I'm going with Tatum. I'm going with Tatum. I'm just gonna take the skill. I'm gonna take the youth. Jimmy's gonna have some nights where he doesn't want to be the elite scorer. Like Jason Tatum, you need buckets. Like this boy's gonna get buckets. His jumper is so silky smooth. It kind of reminds me of Victor Wembanyama's release. It's just so smooth. It drops in so nicely. I don't know who's going to play small forward, shooting guard, but I'm going to put Tatum at shooting guard for now.
All right.
We'll see.
Well, I think there is as good as it is to be talented, I think you got to worry about the mind too. So I'm going to take the best mind on the court. I'm going with LeBron James. I can have basically a coach on the floor here. Like we're going for wisdom over talent here. We're not over like LeBron's done, but we're going to go with some wisdom here.
You getting the first pick definitely helps out, but I got to get a team fit. Now he may not be the best player available. No, you're not going to do that. I'm going to do a strategy. So I'm going to take Jaylen Brown. I'm going to put Tatum maybe at power forward, and I'm going to put Jaylen Brown at guard. Between those three boys, we're going to get points, and we have a lot of two-way players, a lot of two-way action. So I'm good here because you're not going to clog up the big boys.
All right.
I think I'm
I
okay.
actually, I'm okay with that because my next pick I wanted was Jamal Murray. I want to have a nice point guard,
Yeah.
and I have right now. I feel like I have good size at every position here.
It's arguable that Jamal Murray's better than Jaylen Brown. Definitely is. I'm curious. Let me scroll down the list here. The Ringer website is a nice list. No, they got Jaylen Brown 17. There's no way. There's no way. I love seeing the Ringer does a really good job. Yeah. Wow. Oh my God, that's a little disrespectful. They got Jamal Murray, stock rising because of what he's doing now. He's at 35 overall, and they have Jaylen Brown
35?
at 17.
Oh no,
35.
that's way
I
off.
love the Ringer. They do a great job at making it visually appealing too, and it's just one man's opinion. I mean, maybe a few people here, but Kevin O'Connor pretty much runs all these lists. I love what he does with the NBA draft. It definitely gives you a nice deep dive into these players. And I don't have the time to watch NBA Jam, high school dunk contest footage. I've seen
Yeah, who
I've seen
does?
Victor because he's just that special. I'm like, all right, I got to check this guy out. He's 77 foot 5 without shoes, can handle. I got to check him out. But anyway, let's get back to this draft. So right now you have Jamal Murray, LeBron James, Anthony Davis, Nikola Jokic. I got Tatum Brown and Jimmy Butler. I'm definitely not feeling this at the moment. But I do have one question before we go on. He is not my next pick, but I want to give an equal opportunity. Tyler Hero has a hand injury. Are we able to draft him? Because at the end of the day, he's likely has an opportunity to play. And I would pick yes. Are you okay with that?
I say yes. Also, I think he
All
will
right.
play in this series. Maybe not game one, but like maybe like by game four he could be in this. And I
Yeah,
think
we'll see.
it's going to be a longer series than some people think. Maybe not you, but like some of the more people are like, oh, Boston's going to crush him. I do not think that.
They're actually getting some love. I was watching Nick Wright today on First Things First, and he
Mm-hmm.
had the Miami Heat as a 20% chance of winning the title, with Boston at 22, Denver at 24, and LA Lakers at 34%. I thought that was interesting, but I was like, wow, okay, somebody's given. I mean, he's a LeBron James, like, Homer, Homer, Homer.
This is true.
So having
Big
the
time.
Lakers as a big, favorite compared to the Denver Nuggets wasn't surprising. But I was like, okay, I guess he believes in Eric Spoelstra and Jimmy Butler. I mean, for me, we've already gone through it, but Miami's got a good chance because Joe Maz versus Eric Spoelstra, that's a mismatch. I know Jason Tatum, Jalen Brown, and you go through the list, like this team is deep. We've gone through it time and time again. I'm actually curious of the top 20, how many are going to be a Celtic? But I think Eric Spoelstra does the best job at getting the most out of no talent. Like they got a full list of 17 guys potentially
Mhm.
able to start or be on the top 12 type of thing, and nine of the 17 are undrafted, and the only guys at the top of the draft are guys like Victor Oladipo, who's gone through
Yeah.
injuries after injuries. He was second overall. And you got Cody Zeller. I think he was fourth overall. And then Kevin Love, who was fifth. The only top picks. You got Bam and Tyler Hero like 13, 14. And then Jimmy Butler all the way down at 30th. These are guys that were overlooked. And then at the top of the draft, the 2, 4, 5, the Kevin Love, Cody Zeller, Victor Oladipo, those are guys that really, I mean, maybe Kevin Love did, but guys that didn't really get the most out of their potential, at
Hmm.
least for what their
Yeah.
draft prospect stock was compared to what their career
Sure. Sure.
results were. Like Cody
Kevin Love's
Zeller's
really
gritty,
old
but
now, so
yeah, I don't think if you redo that draft, he's going fourth. So it's just fun to see. I'm excited for it, as you could tell. Of course, I'm interrupting our draft constantly, but I want to get it free flowing. It's a normal, casual
yeah. I
conversation
mean,
here.
you mentioned Jimmy Butler being 30th. If he's one pick later, is he the best second round draft pick of all time?
We'll have to deep dive that, but I mean, instant reactions. His stock couldn't be
I
higher than
mean,
it is right now.
he's got to be one of the top. If he's one pick later, 30 teams in the NBA, one pick later, he goes 31st. That's a second round pick. Off the top of my head, I think second round picks, Mono comes to mind as one of the better ones.
Yeah,
And I didn't do a deep dive myself, so honestly, I'm blanking on names,
yeah,
but it just did pop in my head. I was like, oh, you said 30 teams. Like, could have been a second round pick. The NBA is not the NFL. Sure, there are some great second round picks, but the NFL, has tons
oh,
of undrafted, whatever. The NBA, you look at the top, say, 15, 20 players all time, they're basically all like lottery picks. Like, generally,
exactly,
if you're going to
exactly.
be, you could be great and be lower in the draft than the NBA.
Hmm.
It's easier to spot talent, like superstar talent. Superstar talent is generally picked out pretty early, at least top 10, top 15 pick.
Yeah, I'm basically long-winding saying the Boston Celtics have the talent, but the Miami Heat have a solid organization, solid team, solid coach, solid system here. And I'm excited to see what Jimmy's going to do. I think he's going to have to fully engage and give his all. And maybe he didn't have to with the Knicks, and he was just tempting, like playing with the ankle injury, and we'll figure it out. But let's get back to this draft here. So now we have this pool of players. I could be a little defensive. I really like Tyler Hero though, and he may not be my point guard, but if he's my sixth man, I think that's lights out, man. I'm excited to get him on board. And of course, these aren't realistic teams because we're only drafting from four, but it's a
Mm-hmm.
it's a fun little fantasy draft situation. Something we may put through NBA 2K or something like that.
Yeah. So for my finish out the starting lineup, this would be my fifth pick. Uh, I'm gonna go slightly taller than should be, but I'm gonna go with Michael Porter's Jr.
Of
I think he
course.
can play shooting guard, even though he's listed as a small forward. Shooting 40% from three in the playoffs, so I need some shooting, and that's where I'm going.
You know what's funny? I mean, kind of incredible. Pretty much every single, well, actually, literally every single member of the starting roster for the Denver Nuggets is shooting like 39% or 40% or more from 3 point. The fact that you don't know who's going to shoot, even like Nikola Jokic is shooting like 47% from three and still grabbing like 15 rebounds, 30 points per game. Like this boy's insane. I'm super excited. I mean, we're literally 5 minutes away from figuring out like what the Lakers are going to do to try to defend this guy. All right, so let's get back to this. There's so many ways I could go. There's so much depth here. I really need a little bit of size, but I've spoken pretty highly about this guy. I want him as a leader. I want Marcus Smart on my bench. I want Marcus Smart coming in. Maybe he's going to
Okay.
start at point guard.
Going
I
for
have enough
defense
ball
here.
handlers that he doesn't necessarily need to be the ball handler. But if I have him here, if I have him on my team, I know he's a guy that him and Jimmy could get the most out of Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown and Bam and Tyler Hero, more guys. Well, Tyler Hero's got the confidence of a you know anybody, but I need a Marcus Smart type of personality on here. Jimmy can't be the only guy.
All
You're
right,
up, my
solid
friend.
pick. So that's the roster 5-on-5 right there.
Uh, we got like 6 guys so far.
Do we? I don't have the sheet. I
You
should
have
have the sheet in
5.
front of me.
You have 5. Oh wait, did I
How deep
skip
are we
you?
taking this? I went. You went. You should have 5 too, because I went first.
I know I have 6.
What? How'd you get the 6?
Should we scrap this? Redo this? What's happening here? I went Jokic. No, you went Jokic. I went Jimmy. You went AD. I went Tatum. You went LeBron. I went Brown. You went MP. No, you went Murray. I went maybe Bam. And then it took Hero. And then, oh yeah, we're skipping subjects. All right, so I don't get Marcus Smart. How about that? I don't
All
get
right,
Marcus
fair enough.
Smart. So we're 17
You'll notice
minutes in.
from
Let's get
my
into it.
roster, it is West Coast only.
West Coast only? All right.
West Coast only. Matter of fact, are you only East Coast?
So far, yes.
All right, so this is really just an Eastern Western All Star game, is what this is.
So who's your pick, buddy?
All right, if I'm going 6 here, I want to go with somebody that's used to being a 6 man. So I'm going to go with Malcolm Brogdon.
Oh, fucking
I think he's underrated, even though he won 6 man a year, because I do think that Milwaukee missed him. You look from the championship year, I do feel like he's a missing piece there. So I'll dip my toe into the Eastern Conference over there, get me some solids going off the bench, a man that knows how to come off the bench, used to it. So it's not going to be a different role for him.
This just in, breaking news. The San Antonio Spurs are going to get Victor Wembanyama.
What?
It's official. He's going
Uh,
to one of the best organizations in the game. I guess Pop isn't retiring.
right? And this is going to change his mind just a little bit.
A little bit, a little bit.
Man, is Pop the luckiest guy? Like,
I mean,
I mean,
they
he's been
literally
in the
tanked for
lottery
Tim
only a
Duncan
couple of times.
with
He's
David
got Duncan,
Robinson.
like, oh no, I get another transcendent player 20 years later.
Oops. And Biggs.
Yeah,
Biggs.
and Biggs and Biggs.
He knows what to do with them.
The fan in me, I personally would have preferred to go somewhere else. No offense, San Antonio, been there, fun place, but it's a small market. I would have liked to see
Sure.
something a little bigger. I think something fun would have been like for me, Portland. I think would have been really fun. Damian Lillard, we know his lawyer wants to stay. That becomes like a championship contender immediately. So I think Portland might have been my favorite pick if just as a fan to watch. That's where I would have liked to see him go. But I will be curious to see what San Antonio can do. There's not a lot of meat on that roster, so we can see how good can Victor be in year one, but not a lot of help.
Yeah, I mean, I think Dame's got to go. Dame's got to leave. Like he's been loyal enough. So that roster is just going to be
Yeah.
depleted. They're going to be the next Pistons. They could build around Anthony Simons. I'm just glad he's not going to Houston. Houston's already probably going to get James Harden and have like the most casual team of all time. Like I just don't want like this guy seems like a perennial all-star, the type of guy that's going to be around for years to come. I'm at least happy that he's going to go to a good organization with a good coach. I generally want, the best for players, and I think it's a great fit. I'm happy for it. Even though the Miami Heat and the San Antonio Spurs have a lot of history, they're not exactly one of my
Yeah.
favorite teams. They've become a West Coast rival, but good for him. Good for him, man. And the Hornets got the second pick, which I don't even know who the
Yeah.
second pick's going to be. Like Like Scoot Henderson
Uh,
or Brandon
God,
Miller? I think that's a toss-up.
I'm blanking on who it was. Wasn't there a kid, Scotty something
Yeah, it's
or
Scoot Henderson and Brandon Miller.
Scoot Anderson?
Yeah,
I mean, they say I don't follow the draft that
sure.
much, but they say this is supposed to be a pretty deep draft, relatively speaking. Like some drafts is like one guy or not even really a top guy. So they're saying the first couple picks are supposed to be really good.
Yeah. To
And
finish
obviously,
out the
we hope
top
for that.
five,
We
it's
want to
the
see it's good for the
Thompson
basketball,
twins.
good for NBA.
The Thompson twins are like the 4-5 right now projected, and Brandon Miller and Scoot Henderson are 2-3. But it seems to be a toss up between them. Outside of the top five, I'm not there yet. I'm too locked in with the NBA
Yeah,
finals.
like
NBA
like I just said with
playoffs.
Jimmy being like possibly one of the best picks at 30 in the NBA. Once you get past top five, it starts to drop pretty quickly.
Yeah, exactly. That's what's so impressive about somebody like Giannis Antetokounmpo. Like he went 15.
Mhm.
He was a prospect. He was deep. He was
Yeah,
lanky.
yeah, he was
You
a
know,
prospect.
absolutely. They got the most out of him. All right, so let's get back to this. So my sixth pick, I think I should go. Hmm, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe a little switcheroo, figuring it out. No, I'm going with Marcus Smart. I'm going with Marcus Smart. I need somebody. I need somebody with that
You
energy.
drafted him twice. Okay.
Exactly. Exactly. I gotta stay consistent. I can't switch it up. All right, who do you got seventh?
For seven, I'm going with Austin Reeves. He's
Oh,
him.
fucking A. Jesus. That boy's skyrocketing. But you know what? He's like the third best player in the Lakers right now.
Yeah, yeah, I think he is. So in that way, he's actually being underdrafted by us. If you look at it that way,
Talent for talent, he's
because he's a
definitely not the
starter.
guy there, but I mean, whew, he's getting the attention now. I think he's going to get on a lot of people's top 100 list very soon. All right, so I need a combat with size, or I want a secondary point guard. I'm going to go with Derek White. He's super underrated. I think he's potentially better
I
than
like that pick.
Brogdon, even though Brogdon's one of my favorite players in the league, and I think he's deservingly so, six man of the year. But I'm going with Derek White,
I do like that pick.
underrated player.
I'm telling you right now that if he was still around, that would have been my next pick. So I'm feeling that. That gives me cause to pause for a second because I was thinking that would have been my next one. With that being said, off the board, I'm gonna go with KCP.
Oh,
I think he's got playoff experience, plays with LeBron well, clutch client. So I'm feeling
clutch.
like that's gonna work well for him.
Honestly, he's a
And we're
perfect
just
fit with
scooping up the entire Laker roster at this point.
exactly. He's a perfect fit with LeBron. All right, I think it's pretty obvious for me. I'm going with the more youthful big man and somebody that I may need to start depending on how AD and Jokic are balling out. I got to go Rob Williams. Like if I only need him for
Nice.
like a 7 game series, I don't need him for the whole season. I'm going with Big Rob. Duke approves.
Let's see. We're getting a little more thinned out.
Oh, for sure.
I took some smaller guys there, so I'm gonna go a little bigger right now.
Mhm.
I'm going with Aaron Gordon. I think he can give me some more size off the bench, good defense. That's where I'm going.
All right, Al Horford. It is super simple. Fits the team very well. Veteran leader, locked up Joel Embiid. So I got a lot of
He did
flexibility
a
to guard
hell of
your
a
big
job on
man.
that.
I
Right.
need Eric Spoelstra on my team to
Yeah, you
roster
need that.
adjust.
What are we? Are we 8 deep right now or 9? Wait, how many players I got left here?
We only have one more pick left each. We are 9 deep. Your last pick, sir. Somebody that may not play much. Just ready in case somebody gets injured.
You know what that sounds like to me? That sounds like I need experience. Somebody that knows.
Okay.
That sounds like a Miami guy. I'm going with Kyle Lowry.
Oh. I mean, he's going to give Derek White some trouble for sure. All right. I think it's pretty
That makes my
obvious for
bench is a
me.
little shorter, but I took the 2 centers early, so I think I can mix and match that around.
All right, so I could go two ways here, but I got Derek White, Jalen Brown, Jason Tatum, Jimmy Butler, Bam Adebayo. Hero, Smart, Rob Williams, and Al Horford. Literally only East guys. I could go D'Lo or
Yeah, I have
Vanderbilt.
at least a couple of
They're
these
on the
guys, so
West.
you gotta spread it out.
You literally only have one guy from the East. Well, no, two. In Lowry
I got that
Brogdon.
too. You got no Westbrook.
I don't know. Vanderbilt's going to give me some more flexibility, but I got Al Horford and Rob Williams and Bam to guard the big boys. Is three enough? I got enough ball handlers here, so I don't necessarily need D'Lo. I got enough scoring. Yeah, Vanderbilt's got to be the guy. He's also definitely a better player. He's just a better player than D'Lo. D'Lo's having a nice hot start right now, but Jared Vanderbilt. That's my last pick.
Yeah, I think always good to go with defense
A
anyway.
man that did not play in the last series. But you know what? Denver's going to need him. I mean, they're going to need him versus Denver. They're definitely going to need him versus Denver. All right, Scotty. So let's wrap up in the next 10 minutes. But let's deep dive into these series. We got the Denver Nuggets and the LA Lakers coming on right now in a couple of minutes live in the East Coast.
Yeah.
Let's go there first. How are you feeling on this series?
Well, let's see. On this series, less confident than the previous round. So far, my only saving grace of a pick has been the Lakers. Definitely my best pick in the playoffs. So I got to ride that one. I'm going to go Lakers to win this.
Okay.
I know I said initially that whoever came out of the Lakers Warriors would lose game one, but I'm going to flip that and say Lakers win tonight because they're getting more rest than I thought. I thought they were going to get like 2 days rest. They ended up getting 3 full days, so it'll be like 4 days between playing Friday down to Tuesday. So I think they got enough rest, and I think they steal game one tonight. And I'm going to say Lakers win it. If I had to guess, I'm going to say 6 games.
Lakers in 6. Oh, man. Well, Denver's home for game 7. I think Jokic could ball out in 7. I mean, I'm definitely probably going to be rooting for the Lakers. I don't really know where my fanhood's going to go, but seeing like a Lakers Miami matchup, a LeBron coming back to Miami type of thing would be amazing. I think that would be a fun competition too. So I'm thinking I'm going to be rooting for Lakers Miami, but I'm really liking what Denver's doing. You know, they got Jokic playing at all-time high level. They're super fluid, super healthy. They have the second best coach left. They have the best player in basketball. All 5 starters are shooting around 40% from 3. I think Denver's gonna have a tough. Oh man, it's so hard to pick, but yeah, I mean, you could be wrong half the time, right? So Denver Nuggets. I'll do Denver. And do you have the Miami Heat, or are you going with the pick that most people are doing and going with the Boston Celtics?
You know what? Honestly, I'm not strong. I mean, less strong in this one than I'd say the Lakers game, but I'm going
Let's do
Miami.
it, baby.
I think there's upset, and there's a theme here with Miami Lakers, and I'll tell you the theme right now. There's only two teams in all the playoffs. Obviously, we're down to 4, but even teams that are gone or whatever, there's 2 teams in the entire playoffs that have not lost back-to-back games. That's the Lakers and the Heat. It's the only 2 teams that have not lost back-to-back games in the entire playoffs at any round. So that just gives you an idea. Coaching is important. Coaching matters in the NBA. Sometimes we like to say it doesn't. We feel like it doesn't. I would say Denver probably the 3rd best coach team. I feel like Darvin Ham's getting slept on. Maybe they're giving all the credit to LeBron, but they haven't lost 2 games in a row. They're undefeated at home. Only Denver's the only other team that's undefeated at home.
6-0.
And I feel like Darvin Ham is not getting enough credit. Rookie coach. They're making adjustments. And a team that doesn't lose back-to-back games, we already know how good Spoelstra is. We spoke about him every episode, and we'll speak more. I'm sure you're going to get into it on deeper. Miami has not lost back-to-back games, and that's more impressive playing Milwaukee and whatnot.
Yeah.
The Lakers have not lost either. That's coaching because you lose a game, you make adjustments. So I feel like that's big-time coaching. I give Darvin Ham credit that he's not getting as a rookie coach. Sprinkle in maybe 10% of that is LeBron being a coach on the floor, really, and all that experience. I think that matters. I think LA steals this game. I think they protect their home court. They win a 6. And I think Miami, I don't know how they're going to do it. I don't know how, but I just think they do it. I can't give you a scenario exactly how it's going to break down, but how I do feel is this. It's going to come down to coaching. Boston has had games they should have won. Games in Atlanta, up 12 with 6 minutes left. Somehow they lose that game. Philly, they won the series. They could have won it in 5 because let's be honest, they weren't prepared for game 1. I blame coaching. They lost game 4, I believe. It was the overtime game. They should have won that one like 3 times. I blame coaching there. They should have had 2 wins easier. They should have been up 3-1 and maybe won in 5 or 6 games top. So I think it's going to come down at some point, whether it's game 7 or they lose to Miami in 7. But there's other games in the series, or games 3 or 4, whatever. There's going to be games when the series is over that you look back on and say, why did Boston do that? That's what I think is going to happen. I don't know how it goes out exactly, but I think it's going to come down to those little things, and Miami's going to win. And you're going to say that was a coaching series, and Spolster's going to figure out a way to Harry Potter shit with a spell and put his ass in the finals. Yeah, bubble rematch.
So I hear you there. I hear you there. We may have, with the Lakers, the better coaching duo between him and LeBron than Jokic and Malone, type of thing. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
look back at LeBron James' career. He hasn't really had any good coaches. Eric Spoelstra was,
Yeah,
okay when he was a rookie, but LeBron has kind of taken control. And right now, it's, 20 years in his career, 38 years old. He knows what he's doing. He just subs himself in. He's like, you know what, coach, I got it. I'm coming in. This is my time. Darvin Ham doesn't need to do too much. And LeBron now has so much control over his game that he can facilitate where everybody's going even more. Like he does this more and more every year. He knows all of his plays, but he knows all of your plays, all of your tendencies. He's going to exploit whatever your weaknesses are. And I love just trying to see where he sees the game because I think he knows the game more than like almost any man to ever exist. Like there's a man that's literally obsessed over this game since he was born, and he gets the most out of his talent. Even though he was a Victor Wembanyama prospect, he potentially could have been a better prospect because honestly, I don't know if I want a 7'5" guy. Like that's injury risk immediately.
yeah,
Yao Ming, rough career. We could go down the list of foot injuries from big men. It's tricky. I'm excited to see this guy.
sure.
I'm glad he's in San Antonio, but LeBron was like built like perfectly for what you need. He's 6'8", 260, rolling
Yeah.
through everybody and lightning fast. And right now
Two.
he's so strategic about his play. I don't really want to take Denver, but I think I kind of just have to. Like I don't know, Jokic baby, Jokic. He's just so talented, man. I think he's going to get it done. Like he's gone through turmoil time and time again, and the Lakers have been that team. Even though nobody really loved them this year, the Lakers have been the team in his way. And last year was Golden State. A couple of years ago in the bubble was the Lakers. One stat I do see is that Phil Jackson has this philosophy: the teams that are winning the championship, and it's statistically proven, often win 40 games in the regular season before they lose 20 games. And there's only 3 teams that have done that this year. It was the Milwaukee Bucks, who the Miami Heat beat in the first round. It was the Boston
Mm-hmm.
Celtics, who the Miami Heat hopefully are going to be in the conference finals. And it was the Denver Nuggets. The Denver Nuggets have just been that team that I'm like not believing in the whole series, but the whole season. But you know what? Like I gotta give them their flowers. LeBron may lose in the conference finals. We'll see. I'm like a 51-49 feeling, but I'll go with Denver.
All right. So you got Denver, Miami.
I don't like it, but yeah, sure.
All right. So we're
I,
both picking
I want the
Miami, the
Lakers,
underdog here.
Miami, though.
Okay,
The more
that's
we're saying it, I want that. That'd be fun. I want to see the Miami Heat fans, Game 3, cheering for LeBron, maybe a couple of boos, but they're definitely appreciative of his, time in Miami. I want to see that. And AD, if he wins the championship, that man's like catapulting maybe in that like Patrick Ewing conversation. That
yeah. He's
easily over
big
Russell
jumps for
Westbrook.
him.
Like all time legacy wise, people are like trying to figure out, oh, is he deserving of the top 75? I'm like, yeah, he's been hurt, but like talent wise, this guy's incredible.
Yeah, I think that's definitely a question I'd love to sit down and dig dive deeper on. Is like who benefits most from this championship of all the players.
Yeah.
This will be the draft. Who
So it'll be
benefits the
Jokic
most?
is first, Jimmy Butler's first, LeBron's fifth, and AD's second.
Mm,
Jamal Murray, I don't think legacy wise there's really anything there. Jason Tatum and Jalen
no,
Brown haven't done it yet. I think they'll be pretty good, but they're so young. They
mm-hmm.
got time. I think Jokic just
Plenty
means
of
a
time.
lot, especially for the people who didn't want to give him 3 MVPs in a row or like, well, he doesn't do it in the playoffs. I'm like,
Yeah.
honestly, he's won more than anybody in the West since he's like been relevant. Like the man does it. The man's consistent.
Yeah, I would say Jokic or Jimmy. Um, Jokic has more time as Jimmy is getting a little older.
Yeah,
Uh, like you said, as Jokic, it toward the end of the season, people really started hammering on him about that. Like the last couple of years, it was praising him, win MVP, win MVP. First half of the season, they just straw poll like the All Star break. He was still a heavy favorite. It was like right that final 30% of the season, it's like it just started to shift in the direction of maybe he's overrated, and then that started to build up more momentum. Embiid wins MVP, deserve it. I'm not saying he didn't deserve it, but there is definitely starting to be a momentum of like, Jokic has two MVPs back to back. It hasn't been to the finals yet. We want to see something. So it would definitely be huge for his career. Really, like, shut up all the
we
haters.
got Dennis Schroeder in the starting lineup. We got D'Lo and Dennis Schroeder and Austin Reeves. We'll see if Jared Vanderbilt comes off the bench. I'm excited. Oh my god, I'm so excited for this. All right, so let's we went through the final four. Let's go through this drafts. So Scotty, I want your feelings on your draft.
Mm-hmm.
You got Jamal Murray, Michael Porter Jr., LeBron James, Anthony Davis, Nikola Jokic, Malcolm Brogdon, Austin Reeves, KCP, Aaron Gordon, and Kyle Lowry. How do you feel about your team overall? The chemistry, and who's your star?
I feel really good because most of my players are only from two teams, first of all. So I
Chemistry's
mean,
there.
chemistry is solid. I feel like, and I feel like I have the definite advantage with the
Sure.
height.
I mean, yeah. You picked.
So
No, but I
that's
got I got
hard to compete
Jared
with.
Vanderbilt, Al Horford, Rob Williams, and Bam. You know that they're going to be able to compete with Gordon, Jokic, AD, and LeBron. They're going to be able to figure it out.
I think the
Bam and
final
Rob
push in my
Williams are
favor.
elite defenders. I got enough scoring from everybody else, but the fact that you have LeBron and Jokic and AD,
I I feel like LeBron is my final favorite because it's like I have a coach on the floor, if you will. I'm saying if we didn't draft coaches, if you want to throw in the draft and coaching, you'd be like, oh, you get Spolster, that's a big advantage. But if we have no coach, if I'm the coach and you're the coach, well, now I have LeBron. It's like having a coach on the floor. I think that's a nice little edge for me.
so I have 6 Boston Celtics, and you also drafted one. So
Hmm.
7 of the top 20 players we feel are Boston Celtics.
Sure. I think, to me, I think it's honestly not a debate as far as if you just want to say what's the deepest team of the last four, I think it's Boston
Sure.
hands down.
I just love that we're gonna have a rematch of the bubble. For all the people who are shitting on the bubble saying, "Oh, it doesn't matter," I'm like, honestly, it seemed like
Mm-hmm.
tougher, especially for the 1 seeds. Like these are teams that didn't have any home court advantage. They had no connection with their
Go lost
families.
home
They
court.
didn't see their families for like 5 weeks straight. Like, that's really tough. Like, I mean, I don't have a wife and
Yeah.
kids and all that yet, but I can imagine that's like your comfort zone.
Uh,
You're on the road, you're in these
sure.
planes, and like, that all they really had was like a game room and their hotel room. That mental confidence you have to have in yourself.
The mental discipline you needed, that's coming off of that's relatively early stage COVID. So like, where's your brain
That
out? You
too.
might be thinking other things. Maybe you might have even lost someone a loved one or somebody that you knew. So like, I think the mental
Yeah,
discipline it needed. I would argue the bubble was
I
harder
think
to do.
so. I mean, obviously LeBron wins, so he's gonna campaign for that. But I think that's the reason.
Sure, he's going to
People
campaign that.
love to hate on LeBron. Like they love it so much, even though this is a man that's been with the same woman in Savannah, has a solid family, doesn't have any really off court issues. He's definitely not John Morant flashing a gun at Instagram lives. Like come on,
Hmm.
like
Yeah,
we hate
that's
him
a
because
topic maybe for another day, unless you
we
want to
hate
cram
him
that in.
because he has so many expectations and he's actually succeeding them. He had the most unbelievable expectations, the chosen one, and now here he is. Number 6, passes it to Anthony Davis, who misses a layup. But like he's still relevant. He's in the Western Conference Finals again,
He's got the
and
first
that's
two
why
for the
you hate him,
Lakers.
right? You hate him because he's constantly on your television, and you're sick of him.
He's saying
Hate
you
him
hate him
because
because you
you
hate
hate
him.
him.
Is that
Like
what you're saying? Tim, I gotta be honest. I feel like you're talking yourself out of the Nuggets. You just said the Nuggets were
I've
over.
had
Are you
so
sure
much
about
love
that?
for the Lakers in this podcast. It's so tough, and even when I say the Nuggets, it's like I don't want to, but I don't know. You got to go Denver. They got the threes. They got a good team. They got Jokic. Like it's just the smarter heady pick. All right. Anything else you want to discuss before we wrap this up? This is a fun one.
Yeah, I don't know if you want to go quickly into the
Let's
coaching
do it.
carousel that we've had
We
here.
started.
I can't remember the last time this many high-profile coaches were fired like immediately. I mean, I'm trying to remember a year where it's what would you say three of the top? I guess it was three of the top 6 seeds. If you say
Mm-hmm.
1 seed, 2 seed, stuff like that, like gone. Like I know Phoenix was a 4 seed, but they were the Vegas favorites when the playoffs started from the West. So it's almost like they were almost like the 1 seed in the West if you just by Vegas. So that's like I know it says 4 seed, so they lose their coach. You have the 1 seed in the East lose their coach. 3 seed in the East. So if you just went, so that would be the equivalent of at least a top 6 seed if you went 3 seeds inside. Gone. They're saying that Ty Lue is probably going to leave. He's looking into one of those openings, actually. That's what the rumors are. So that's kind of another coach gone, if you will. And that's a 5 seed. So a lot of good coaches moving around here.
So I'm so grateful for Spo, man. Oh my God. So grateful. Like these teams have no idea what they're doing.
I think his job's safe.
Oh,
I
for
think
sure.
even if they lose this round, I
No,
think he's going
he's
to keep his
good.
job.
I'm excited about that.
But he could ask for a raise at this point. I think he could. If I was his agent, I would float the rumor. If I was his agent, I'd be like, oh, you know what? Spoelstra has been shopping for homes in Wisconsin. See if he could get a little raise at that. Like
Too
they do
bad, Pat
in college
Riley.
football. They always are selling Nick Saban's like, I might need to leave, and they quickly give him a raise. And something like that might not
Of
be a
course,
bad
use
idea.
your leverage while you got it, right? Definition of using your leverage right there. All right. Well, I had fun, man. Thank you, Scotty.
Always a good time. I can see you are excited for the game tonight.
I just want to
From the
get
draft
started.
is a good time to be a
4
basketball
minutes
fan.
in, Denver Nuggets are up 14-7. We've been talking to each other. I have no idea what's going on. So I'm definitely getting ready to hop in my couch, put on a nice ambiance, just get ready for this action. All right. Here we go. Well, Nerdy Sports audience, thank you so much for joining us today. I'm curious to hear your thoughts on who had the better draft. You picking Team Scotty? You picking my team with Jimmy Butler and Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown? I think I know where you're going, but we'll see. And as always, Scotty,
West Coast, Keep it nerdy. Peace out.